Week 18 in the NFL has come and passed. In the money line, we went 10-6. In best bets, I went 3-4-5. That puts us going into the postseason on the year. In the money line, we will be at 184-88. In best bets, we will be 59-89 with one push. The money line games I got wrong were I took Indy plus 1.5. I also bet that against the Texans. Obviously, the last play of the game, the 4th and 1, Gardner Minshew could have made a better throw. Bat could have made a better catch. Regardless, CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans win the AFC South, thanks in part to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I don't know what's going on with Jacksonville. I defended Doug Peterson when he was in Philadelphia. I defended him last year when he was in Jacksonville. They have not played well, obviously, over the last 6 weeks. A lot like my Philadelphia Eagles, but unlike the Eagles, Jacksonville, with a generational talent, I believe in Trevor Lawrence, failed to make the postseason. They just fired their entire defensive staff. Well, a new offensive staff be in place. Doug Peterson is definitely on the hot seat in Jacksonville in in 2024. Something I would not have thought I would have said prior to the season. Obviously, New England put up a outwards effort against the Jets. Yes, I know it was a snowstorm, but I thought New England would cover the 2.5 against the Jets. I just did not think Trevor Siemian would be able to move the ball against Belichick, and he barely did. But Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, the worst offense in football, barely put up a field goal against the Jets. Now, I did have the Lions -3 against Minnesota. That was a good call, though it could be costly because Sam Laporta could be out for the Detroit Lions. They decided to play other starters because there was a chance they could get the 2 seed if the Cowboys lose and the Eagles lose. Obviously, one happened, one did not, so it was a pointless game for Detroit, it turns out to be, but could be costly if they lose, excuse me, Laporta, because they're going to need him against the Los Angeles Rams. I picked Tampa as well, -5.5 against Carolina. Now, their offense did not look great, but I will say this: the Carolina Panthers have a pretty good defense. Now, New Orleans, they ran up the score in Atlanta. Dennis Allen's coming back. I would not make the move. I think the Saints are in mediocrity territory where they're going to win 7 to 8 games every single year and not do anything with it. Obviously, Green Bay covered the 3 against Chicago. I picked that. I was wrong on Jordan Love. I admitted that. Matt LaFleur deserves a lot of credit for getting this Green Bay Packer team to the postseason. For the Chicago Bears, I've been saying it. I would blow it up. I don't think Justin Fields is the answer. I don't think Matt Eberflus is the answer. I don't care if they're winning games down the stretch. 4 of the 7 teams they defeated this year will have head coaching vacancies. That is a lack of leadership on those teams and not necessarily contributing to the effect that the Chicago Bears have had on winning football games. Really, there's games like the Chiefs Chargers where the Chiefs rested everybody. Seattle, Arizona. I picked Arizona. Seattle won at the last second. Arizona missed 2 field goals. Again, Seattle's got to get a new quarterback. I don't think Geno Smith is necessarily the answer. In Atlanta, Arthur Smith obviously got fired. Deserved to be fired. He had Drake London, he had Kyle Pitts, he had Bijan Robinson, did not really know how to use them. Dallas killed Washington and Ron, excuse me, Ron Rivera's last game. If it is what I suspect the Chicago Bears will do, and in my opinion, it would be a mistake in keeping not only Justin Fields, but Matt Eberflus as well. I could see potentially Washington moving up with a new head coach, new owner, even a Bill Belichick, a Jim Harbaugh, who we just talked about in the last segment, and going to get the kid that went to high school in the Washington area, Caleb Williams. Philly, obviously, lackluster performance against the Giants. It does sound like AJ Brown's going to be okay. It does sound like Jalen Hurts is going to be okay. It does sound like DeAndre Swift is going to be okay. Listen, the Eagles have a great offensive line. They have a great defensive line. They have a great running game when they decide to use it. The talent is there. We'll see if it can translate to postseason success. I think that they will be ready. They've struggled against the blitz all year long. I think the veteran players on this team, Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, this season, no, the ending has not gone the way they have planned. But in reality, it is a whole new set, and they could go into Tampa. They could win that game. They could get their confidence back. Already played Tampa and dominated them early this season. This will be a record for a NFL team, as the Eagles will play 5 Monday night games in a season with their Monday night wildcard game in Tampa Bay. Bills at Miami. I picked Miami. Now, I did not know that Jalen Waddle was not going to play. That probably would have changed my opinion. I would have went with Buffalo, but Josh Allen did not play great in the first half, made a lot of crucial mistakes, but we see now why a big franchise quarterback changing talent like Josh Allen and the ability they went from Ken Dorsey, who was struggling as their offensive coordinator, to Joe Brady. And ever since losing to the Philadelphia Eagles in overtime, they have not lost a game. And Buffalo crawled all the way back as Miami sort of melted down here down the stretch. One of their last wins came as a barely surviving win at home against Dallas, and now they have to go to Kansas City in the wild card weekend. So I had Pittsburgh over Baltimore, got that right. Obviously, the Steelers are now in the postseason. They go to Buffalo. I don't think they can beat Buffalo. It's going to be Mason Rudolph. What a story that is. And obviously, Baltimore rested all their starters. Indy defeated Houston. And again, I got to give huge credit to CJ Stroud. Played one of the best games he played all season long. I thought the Colts had it there at the end. I thought Shane Steichen, Jonathan Taylor, they got that run game going in the second half. It just was not enough. CJ Stroud was the better quarterback. And to be honest with you, he was the best quarterback in the division this year down the stretch. And that's why the Houston Texans are AFC South champions. Cincinnati defeated Cleveland in a game that did not matter. Jacksonville against Tennessee. We already talked about it. The Titans may be playing for pride. If I was Tennessee, I think you need an offensive winning coach. I think this defensive run the ball culture with Derrick Henry, I think it's outdated. I would move on from Derrick Henry. I would see if Mike Vrabel would entertain going to New England, who again, I think New England just needs a whole culture reset. Jets, we'll see what happens when Aaron Rodgers gets back next year. Minnesota. Sounds like Kirk Cousins going to be back next year as they build momentum. Lions, again, could be crucial injury here if they lose Sam Laporta, because that's going to be a big game against the Rams. Tampa defeated Carolina. Again, their offense did not look great. They only kicked 3 field goals, but that Carolina defense played great towards the end of the year. Mike Evans against the Philadelphia secondary is scary as an Eagles fan, but I will say this. I think Darius Slay coming back will make a huge impact on that Philly secondary. New Orleans ran Arthur Smith out of town. And again, I already talked about Green Bay. I'm so impressed by the job that Matt LaFleur has done with the Packers. Jordan Love did not look like a very good quarterback. They lost to Denver early in the year. They had some bad losses, but that comeback win against the Saints in week 3 is what has led Green Bay this year to be a playoff team. Carson Wentz ran the ball all over the San Francisco 49ers, who were obviously not playing most of their starters. The Rams were not playing most of their starters in what turned out to be a meaningless game again. Arizona, they missed a couple field goals. Seattle needs to get a new quarterback. Geno Smith is not the answer. They're going to be stuck in this, 8-9 win purgatory. I have a feeling, though, because Pete Carroll believes that you can run the ball, play good defense, and still win Super Bowls in 2023. For Arizona, they may have caught themselves out of the Marvin Harrison Jr. sweepstakes, and we'll see, though it is clear they are moving forward with Kyler Murray. And I don't know if that is the right decision or not, though Kyler Murray certainly came back with a better attitude than what he had under Cliff Kingsbury. Maybe it's the new head coaching staff he likes, maybe it's just a new revelation on life. Who knows? Chiefs again, they defeated the Chargers in a meaningless game. I'll be very interested to see what Vegas and the Chargers do at head coaching spots. Chargers to beat Denver. Raiders to beat Denver. I would like Antonio Pierce to stay on as the Raiders head coach, and I would like to see either Jim Harbaugh or Bill Belichick, preferably, in my opinion, Harbaugh because he is an offensive mind. And, as I said in the previous segment, I think he's done everything he needs to do at Michigan. To see him go coach that Charger team, I'll be very fascinated to see. That would be a very scary team. But as I've said before, the only downside about that job is you got to go against Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, in Kansas City every year, which even though they're having a down year, I think Travis Kelce may be past his prime. Kansas City is going to always reinvent the wheel. They're going to be there every single year. Dallas, there's real pressure on them now to beat Green Bay. I think Green Bay does match up with them in certain areas. Philly, again, I think they will bounce back in the postseason. Wink Martindale coaches last game as the Giants defensive coordinator. I'll be interested to see, depending on how Philly goes, and God forbid, even if we do come out Super Bowl champions, if they do make a change at defensive coordinator. And then again, Miami now going to Kansas City in brutally cold weather. It's going to be a very interesting matchup to watch. They played them earlier in this season. They shut them out in the second half in Germany. I'll be fascinated to watch that game on Peacock Saturday night as Josh Allen wills the Buffalo Bills to yet another AFC East championship title. The division winners this year: Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield. Out of all those 8 quarterbacks, you have to say in their division, they probably played the best football, every single one of them. You can make a case for Matthew Stafford over Brock Purdy in the NFC West. Dak has certainly had a better year than Jalen Hurts. CJ Stroud had a better year than Trevor Lawrence. With Joe Burrow going down, that opened up the door for Lamar Jackson. We know what Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes do for their teams. And certainly Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff had the best years at quarterback in their respective divisions. So that'll do it for my Week 18 NFL recap. And again, we will be back on Thursday with predicting all the money line picks for Wild Card Weekend. Plus, there are 6 games. We do 5 best bets, so I'm allowed to skip 1 game. But I will give my best bets for Wild Card Weekend as well. Like that clip from the Brandon Sports Podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brandon Sports Podcast right here on YouTube.